Welcome to the pre-50th show of the Polto Show. Now, what does that mean? What does the pre-50th show mean? Well, I can't say it's sad enough we're going, the Polto Show, because we're really not, but we're creating a new show, and the 50th show is the anniversary show. You've heard me talk about the Guardian Angels of Justice and Peace, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow on the 50th show. But I want to talk to you about what it really is, and people didn't understand it. It has to do, naturally, with credit. The justice has to do with our system is doing to the people. Where with the banks, the credit card companies, everybody is taking advantage of the people. And we sat down and said, this has to stop. This has to stop in our country. Now, why it has to stop is because the people are going under when it comes to their houses, their credit cards, bankruptcies. So all this has to stop. Now, what does the peace mean? Josie Branton does the peace thing, and that's the divorce. Many people are in divorce in our country. The epidemic is going sky high, and this epidemic of divorce is hurting people because one's attacking the other. And as one is attacking the other, they're bringing credits down, they're bringing their bank accounts down, they're bringing their houses down. So I sat there and I said, what do I want to do? What are the choices? The choices are, do I continue with the Polto Show, or do we continue with saving and helping the economy and really helping the people? We've had many interesting shows on, as you know, between the music, between the bandstand, because this, and there was so few shows on credit. And many emailed me. There was so many few shows. Everybody was emailing me by saying, put us on, and we did. But it got to the point where it has to go back to where it all began, and that's the justice. The justice is the credit. And the justice is to educate you with your credit completely without bringing, no offense to the people that want to become a guest on our show. We're still going to have guests on the show, but it's going to be, the guest is going to be more involved. It's going to be people in Washington, people of the dream team, what they want to accomplish, what we want to accomplish for you, the people. And I call it We the People is because one of my books is titled We the People Have Credit Rights Too. The other thing I want to bring on the 49th show is many people out there, come on, I have 5 books out there, and if you go to Amazon, one of my books, actually 2 of my books, is selling for $500-$600. This is a disgrace. How somebody is selling my own book and it's not even signed. So those of you that want copies of my book, all you have to do is call my toll-free number, 1-800-876-CREDIT, to say, Pearl, I want copies of the book. Tomorrow night's show is going to be so interesting. It's going to be giveaways. We are going to be giving away the Credit Lifeline kit. There's the Guardian Angel. We have a bracelet, and it's called the Guardian Angels of J and P. That's justice and peace. But the thing is, what does J and P stand for? Well, it's Josie and it's Pearl. But we wanted to show the world the justice, what's going on in our country. And I wanted to make this a point because I wanted to make this so big. The Polto show was big, but not big enough for me. And yet I wanted to make it bigger. And how can I make it bigger? Is going on the topics that you want to hear about. That's credit. Many people out there getting a divorce. This is what we want to hear as well. We want to make it work where the whole world is changing. And the only way I could have done this without hurting people's feelings, without saying, well, Pearl, I want this on, I want this singer on, I want that singer on. We can't put the whole world on, and especially on the topic. So I had to sit down and I had to think clear to say, what do we want to accomplish? What do I want to accomplish? What did Josie want to accomplish? What did the show want to accomplish? Well, I know what I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to teach you your rights. And if I have to teach you your rights to the Guardian Angels, yes, we are Guardian Angels of Justice and Peace. And this is the way it's doing it. And I want to attach the whole world, not just the United States. And it's working because the whole world's going to be watching tomorrow's show and every other show after that. Because they want to see what is the Guardian Angels all about. And I decided before we do the pre-show tomorrow with Josie and myself, I wanted to come on tonight actually to say to you, this is what it's all about. This is what our intentions are. Many people has emailed me and they've said, Pearl, you're giving up credit. Josie, you're giving up your music. We're not giving up anything. She's keeping her music. Matter of fact, one of the songs is going to be titled with the show. This is one of the theme songs of the Garden Angels, is one of her songs. I want to be just like them. And that's for divorced people and people that were married for years and years and years. I want to be just like them. And people that are married today want to stay married, but they're not staying married. So this is where all the problems arise in. People with credit cards want to keep their credit cards. People that have their homes want to save their homes. How could we do it if the world's going under? But if other countries want to help us out, we're all for it. And this is how the Garden Angels took place. Other countries came to our side to say, hey, we want to help out. We want to make it work for America. We want to bring it back to where all nation under one God. Well, this is where you're going to love it. You're going to love it because we're going to be two hosts on here, just saying it like it is, saying it like it is. And if if you ever heard Josie and I say it like it is, you're in for a treat. You've seen my temper. You've seen the nice side. You've seen the nice side of Josie. You haven't seen her temper, but you're going to see it all. You're going to see it all because we're both going to join forces. And in the future, we're going to have guests on the show. We will be having guests on. We're going to be doing this two ways. We're going to be going Skype and having her in live. And when she's in live because she'll be sitting right here in the studio. And that's going to be majority of the times. But we need to teach you to say, I want my rights. I want to know credit. I want to save my home. I want to save my marriage. How do I do it? Do I listen to you two girls? Well, yes, that's a start. They call me the queen of credit rights, and they call her the queen of her music and her business. She's an expert in her field. And we're going to deal with all kinds of people because a lot of people want to hear her music. A lot of people want me to do the credit. But we're still going to do it. We are still going to do it. We're just joining forces. And that joining forces is keeping Carrie. He's the one who sues the bill collectors. And we do it all just by looking, by talking. Now, my website, an example. If you have a credit problem, all you have to do, pick up the phone. 1-800-876-CREDIT. 1-800-876-CREDIT. Pick up the phone, call Pearl, as they say. Now, what happens when you call me? I'm going to send you out my information. I'm going to talk to you. And I'm going to say, let me make it happen for you. Let me save your home. Let me get your credit back in order. Let me do everything I'm supposed to do. But the problem in today's world is you are procrastinating. This is what made me write my last book, Are We Doomed? Enough is Enough. You were procrastinating because it didn't come in your backyard. Well, now it's in your backyard where you're saying, Pearl, now I really need you. But you needed me before. So this is our mission. You needed us before. You just didn't pick the phone up until it went right into your backyard. And when it went into your backyard, what happened? Bill collectors, attorneys, mortgage companies were threatening you, were scaring you. You didn't even know what to do. And that's the sad part, because when you don't know what to do, you panic. And when you panic, what do? You pick up the phone and call Pearl. And then I'm supposed to jump, run. It won't happen anymore. It won't happen anymore because now I want to educate you. The Garden Angels of Justice and Peace, we're starting seminars as well, which you're going to hear. You're going to hear all this on the 50th blank anniversary show. The seminars, I don't care if you live in California. If you want a seminar in your hometown, in your state, just email us and say, we would like you to appear. We would like a minimum actually of 100, maybe 200 people for us to even show up, but you will get the education of a lifetime. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow on the 50th show, that if you want it for your church or organization, your business, we will make it work where you're going to be so glad. You're going to have two people on a stage now. Think about it. You're going to have an author and you're going to have a country and western singer together, fighting a cause. This has never been done in history, and it's going to be done right here. So people are going to be talking about this for a long time, how the author and the country singer join forces together. So people are going to be discussing this, talking about it, saying, well, what is it all about? What is the mission? You will learn. You're going to have no questions. And as I said, many people, some positive, some negative. Why are you doing this? We're doing it for a purpose. We don't want to save the world. We want to help the world. And we can't help them if you tack or you say, well, your field's this. I always describe it as an apple on a tree. I'm the apple on the tree, and everybody likes to see that apple stay there. But what happens when the apple gets rotten? It falls off. Well, you don't want it to fall off because you still need that education. All we did was change the name. And all I did was added a little spice to it with a country singer who had the same mission as I did. And I love it because there's not that many times in life you can find a person that has the same things that you believe in. And when you find the person that has the same beliefs in a mission, go for it. And I did. I did. And the more people that jump in on our cause, we're going to make it happen. And how would you like? Now, what's the purpose of this? The purpose of it is we want people to sign petitions. We're going to have a petition sign on the Garden Angels website. We're going to have you sign a petition. Now, let's suppose we had 1 million petitions signed for the Garden Angels. 1 million. Look at the power in that. Look at the power that we could go to Washington, we can go to Congress, and we could say to them, hey, we want this bill collector out of business now. Now, not tomorrow, now. And what are you going to do about it? We want this law changed now. He can't say, well, I can't do anything. With 1 million signatures, with 1 million petitions, you know what happens. We put them into office. They are our servants. We're not their servants. So if they have 1 million people, we could put them in the office or take them out of office, and they know it. We want to change the whole history around one nation under God. Well, we're going to change it around with everybody in Washington. If they want to be a part of it, if they want to be a part of the Garden Angels, what do they have to do? Look at these petitions, look at these House bills to say, hey, we better change this or we're in trouble, we're out of office. And this is the power that the Garden Angels of Justice and Peace can have on the people. And it's up to you. You could sit back and relax to say, well, let the others take over. But if you have a cause in your backyard, you need us. You need us just as much as we need you. We need that signature. We need that paper to put in front of Washington to say, hey, Mr. Senator, you know, it has to go in front of the House first, but it's up to you to talk to everybody to make these changes for the bill collectors. There's no passive laws out there. Look what the credit cards companies are doing with the merchants. Look what they're doing. They're taking advantage of it and running with it. And the president's allowing them to do it. You don't like it, but then you say, what am I supposed to do? I don't have any control. Well, now you do. You have two people that came together from opposite sides of the universe to make it happen. Yes, we're on a passion. Yes, we're on a mission. And this mission is, we believe, I believe, this is intended by God because it's meant to be. Where can you find somebody that's a duplicate when you look in the mirror? When you look in the mirror and you see yourself, wow, you say to yourself, how did this person come about? I thought there was only one of me. There's not. There's two of me now. Because Josie and I have the same mission and the same outlook in life. All this we're going to talk about tomorrow, but I'm going in deeper tonight because this is the pre-50th show where it's going to happen. It's not that you're going to not see me again, because you always will every week. But the topics are going to be stronger. They're going to be harsher. And you may not even know. You're going to sit there to say, she's talking about me. Or Josie, I'm getting a divorce. She's talking about me. I need a divorce. Why should I stay married? Because I can't afford it. And then maybe we will help you out when it comes to this, what you need in your life. It may be a divorce. It may be, why are you staying stagnant? Why are you staying there? Why? Because you can't afford a divorce? I don't think so. You're staying for your own reasons. And it could be money. It could be credit. It could be your house. It could be the kids. It could be anything. But you're stagnant in the middle of a divorce. Divorce and credit go hand in hand. And you're going to see, and the future shows how divorce and credit goes hand in hand. Because once you get a divorce, the spouse will take over and they'll take your bank account, they'll take your credit cards, they stop paying the mortgage. And it's not that just you have bad credit. You both have bad credit. So what do? Do you sit back and wait for 7 years? You don't have to. You pick up the phone and call 1-800-876-CREDIT, and you become a client. And I will assure you that I correct that problem, not for your spouse, but for you. Now, if you sit there to say, well, when that time comes, I'll pick up the phone. This is why I wrote the book, Are We Doomed? Enough is Enough. Because it was the people that procrastinated, not the system. The system still goes on and on and on. It's you that procrastinates. And if you procrastinate long enough, you'll lose sight of what's happening in our country. How many out there had ancestors, the grandmothers, the grandfathers that came over from other countries, and they believed in America? Well, that belief in America has gone, where other countries now are saying, what happened to America? What happened to us? That's an insult. That they have to come over to help us to get this back under Lincoln's day. One nation. It's an insult. And yet we sit back and take it, and you say, well, what can I do? I am telling you what you can do. You're going to be signing petitions. Get seminars together for us to speak in your community. Get seminars together for us to speak at your church, your household. And then we will do the rest with the petitions that are in Washington that needs to be passed. You don't have to go to attorneys anymore. You won't have to go to your congressman. You won't even have to write to the president. We will do it for you. I mean, what a location. The guardian angels, it sounds religious, it sounds holy, but it's not. It's spiritual. Because what do guardian angels do? They watch you, they protect you, and then they make changes. So we're not a religious thing. We are the guardian angels to protect you, to make things happen. How we use the word peace is because of divorces. Divorces get angry. Divorces get hostile. And then you end up fighting one another and hating one another in a divorce court, and it gets to be evil. Justice, on the other hand, well, that's where I come in at. The justice is the court system. You're in a court, what happens? The attorneys take advantage of you, the creditors, the merchants, and definitely when you go to court, what happens when you hire an attorney? You're not even sure if you're hiring the right attorney because they abuse you, they use you, and they overcharge. But you have no choice. You have no choice but to take it to the utmost. Aren't you tired of it? Aren't you tired of what's going on? And then you have the people, and we're going to have many, we're going to have the people that are jealous of us because we're going to the top. Well, it's not that we're going to the top. We're taking everybody with us that wants to go to the top with us. If you want to stay stagnant and you want to stay negative, well, you're going to be at the bottom and saying, I should have joined them. I should have joined them. And that's what we want. Our Facebook page has close so far to 6,000. Close to 6,000. And it's from us, America, and another country. I want every country to join forces with us because the more countries that join forces with us, what is that telling our president? What is this telling the president of the United States by saying, oh my God, we better do something? Every country's watching us now through the guardian angels of justice and peace. They wanted laws changed. Well, now other countries are saying we want these laws changed too for the people. The president is going to have to do something. And if he gets out of office and a new president steps in, he's going to be aware of the guardian angels of justice and peace. But he's also going to be aware of everybody watching him and making these decisions. He can't blame it on Congress anymore. He can't blame it on the Democrats or Republicans. He's going to have to blame someone. He's going to have to blame himself because everybody's watching. And this is what we love. 6,000, I want to get up to 60,000. And why? Because then it gives a message to the White House by saying, not only the United States is watching you, that you can't manipulate no more, but now other countries are watching you. They're watching how you're treating your own people. And this is what it's all about. And when you talk to somebody from other stations of life and other religions and other countries, they're tired of it too. And why they're tired of it and why they don't stay in their own country. They want to work with the United States. They want to help us as much as we need them. They need us. They want to bring in their tools and their merchandise for Americans. But how can Americans sell their merchandise if we don't even know what we're doing ourselves? How can Americans get credit? How can other countries get credit if we don't even know what we're doing ourselves? We're falling apart. Don't you think by the time we're done, if every country joined forces with the United States again would be strong? One nation under God like Lincoln was? Don't you think we could help each other? If you want to join the cause, if you actually want to join this cause, sign our petition. You'll hear all about it tomorrow from me and from Josie. But tonight is just from me. The ending of the era, the Pearl Polto Show, even though we're ending it officially tomorrow. And then the following week is the Guardian Angels of Justice and Peace. But tomorrow we're making it the grand finale. Why? It's our 50th show. And I decided, let's get nature out of it and tell you why we had to do this, why we want to do this. Many of you don't want changes. I do. Many of you will say, well, I like the Pearl Polto Show. I like this. And yet, you did nothing about it. So, many changes have to take place. You're in a stagnant divorce. You're in a stagnant marriage. Well, if you didn't make changes, guess what? Guess what? You're right back where you started. It reminds me of the truck driver. He's in his truck and he says, well, you know what? I have to stay here because I have to support my wife and my kids. But he's going to stay there for a lifetime because he's stagnant. But he could have done something else and made that initial change. He didn't want to. He was too afraid. So when people make changes, go with the flow, go with the changes. It's always for the best. I always say when I make changes, it's always for the best. It's always going to bring you a step further to the direction that you want to go and you want to be in. And then you'll actually see, my God, I got there faster because I made the changes with them. If you're going to be stagnant, you're going to be stagnant for a lifetime. And then you're going to die. But if you're going to die without making even efforts to make these changes when others are trying to tell you, hey, come join us. Come join us. If you don't want to come join us, hey, we're not going to force you. But when it's for the well-being of your own country, I think it's time we take a good look at the shows to say, what was my mission? What was I after? Did I want a singer on my show? Did I want another author on? Did I want this on the show? Wow, it's a good show to watch, but it's over. It's over. The guests are there. They can't even come back on again because they're on YouTube permanently. But when you want to make changes, what do? You don't want to watch your news because the news is always bad news. And they're not accomplishing nothing. We want to accomplish what the news does not accomplish. We want to make it work. And sometimes when you make things work, it will happen. And I've always done that my whole life. Make things work. And I was determined. I had the dream. That was Martin Luther King. I have a dream. Well, when you have the dream, you don't just sit back to say, well, I have the dream, but that's it. So we forced it upon ourselves to make it work. And when you force things to make it work, things happen. It reminds me of my waitress days when I was a singer-songwriter, and I didn't know nothing. All I knew was being a waitress. And yet I wanted to have a song done. So what did? I contacted the newspaper, and I said, I want you to put this into music. Well, he heard me on the phone, and he said, I have to meet you. You're acting like this is going to take 5 minutes. I said, it doesn't. He said, come on over. I'm going to make it happen. Well, I did. I went over there. I gave him the song. It was just words. I told him what the tune I wanted was. He put music to it, lyrics to it. And he said, I had to do it because I'd never met anybody like you. Well, I had the lyrics. I had the tune. Went to a recording studio, and I recorded it. And as I recorded it, guess what? I had my own record. I didn't know what I was doing, but nothing stopped me. I think it's the people out there that if you're sitting back and if you're sitting there and saying, I'm in a marriage, I'm sitting here with my husband, my wife, I really don't want to stay here. What do? Make it happen. Do something. If you do nothing, nothing will happen. You know, my mother used to have an old saying, God rest her soul. She used to say, if you're going to be stagnant, you'll always be stagnant and you'll die without your dream. But if somebody wants to make changes, always go for it, because changes are always good for the people. And we're not just doing changes. I'm not just making another credit issue, or Josie's not just making another song. We're making history. We're making history. And who would ever think, which you'll hear tomorrow's show on the 50th anniversary, who would ever think that two people from different sides of the world would connect? You know it's meant to be. I was always, from school all the way up, I always had a dream. I was always a go-getter. I was always determined. I said it like it was. I always said there was no one else like me out there. Wrong. Josie Brannon is that person. She was just like me. It was like looking in the mirror. She wants a mission, she's going to do it. She wants this, she's going to do it. And she makes it happen, and I'm surprised. I feel like I'm talking to myself in the mirror when I talk to her. But we're on the same, she has talent with music, and yet that's not her main thing. And I have talent with credit, and that's not my main thing, because we joined forces to make it work for you. So who are we working for? Not ourselves anymore, we're working for you. And if we can make some changes, and the president says, because of the guardian angels of justice and peace, we're about to change laws. And because of these laws being changed, we owe it all to. Well, they don't owe it all to us. They owe it to God, because God made this happen with us. But he's going to have to say eventually, we owe it all to guardian angels of justice and peace. You know, when you think about it, the guardian angels, what do you think of? You think about the New York train station, and you think about how they got started. You think about they watched the people because there was so much crime in the subways. Now look at this group. It was just the guardian angels, and yet they titled themselves, and all they did was start it with two people, two guys. And they watched themselves in subways watching the people. And it just grew and grew and grew, where the whole world knew the guardian angels. Well, if you had a problem in California in the subways, who did you call? You called the guardian angels. And they came to California just to walk your subways, just to protect you. And they did this. But then you knew them, and you wanted them, because when you had a problem, you didn't call the cops. You called the guardian angels up of New York. Well, that's what this is all about, but this is a little bit bigger. It's bigger because we're not just the cops. We're not just watching your subways. We're watching your life. And we don't want the United States to go under. Because if the United States goes under, we're all in bad shape, including other countries, and they know it. And this is why other countries are helping us. They know if we go under, they're under. What are they going to deport? What are they going to import? If the United States doesn't care no more, if the people doesn't care no more, where is it gone where the people don't care anymore? You've seen it. The people has just given up. They just hand the keys over. They're handing the keys over to your house even. Is this what you want? You want people to just say, here's my keys. Okay, you got me. My house is in foreclosure. You got me. Here's my house. I don't care no more. I've been here for 60 years, but I don't care. This is what you're doing. Or do you want to fight? And you say, well, how do I fight? How do I fight my mortgage company? How do I fight this? You know, back then, I used to say, if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. And there's always people out there that can help you. And there's always people that say, hey, you know what? We can make a difference. And we can make a difference if we join forces. You never join forces because I always have an expression even at the seminars. It's not in your backyard. And once it's in your backyard, you panic. And that frustrates me because I pick up the phone every day with my clients. Every day, including today. If they can't get me on one line, they call me on another line. They're saying, I have something new to tell you. Nothing's new. Nothing is new. Well, no, this one's new. This is an attorney that's telling me he's going to take my home. Where is so new in that? What is so new about that? The attorney, let's look at the common sense. The attorney is the bill collector. Is he taking your home? No. Can he take your home? No. So where's the logic? They got what they wanted. They scared you. And because they scared you, they got away with it. Don't you think you have your rights to say, the buck stops here? I want to learn my rights. You know, when I started this business, I'll never forget, I did a seminar, and everybody was afraid to ask me any questions. And when it was over, I said, does anybody have a question? No one. No one raised their hand. And then I went outside, and everybody walked up to me and said, I got to ask you this question. I said, why didn't you ask me in there? Because they were so embarrassed because everybody was watching them. And then that made me think, wow, people have problems, but they're so embarrassed that everybody's going to be putting them down or watching them because they have credit problems. So then I decided the next seminar I did, I made an announcement. And I said, one out of two people has credit problems. And the person that opens up their mouth and eyes are the ones that want help. The rest of you are stagnant. Well, they all had their hands raised. They all had their hands raised. And then I do charge a fee. Naturally, I charge a fee for my service. And because I charge a fee, what do you think? It's for nothing? You know, all this education that you're getting, you think it's for nothing? So here's what I also say at seminars. I say to them, can you afford to buy a Mercedes? The answer is no. Can you afford? But if you were giving a Mercedes and had to charge, if I said, come up with $1,000, come up with $1,000 in 24 hours, and I'm going to give you a brand new Mercedes, would you come up with it? Everybody would raise their hand. The crazy part is they couldn't come up with $1,000 to get their credit done to get that Mercedes. This is the mindset of people. So they'd rather have their hand out, but not earn it. Not earn that Mercedes. But this has to do with education. There's no schools out there. There's going to be soon. The college students, I'm hearing from the parents already. A father called me up yesterday and said, can you send a package out, one of your credit packages out to my son? I said, not for you? He said, no, it's my son. I said, how old's your son? He said, I'm 25. I said, 25 years old? He's got a credit problem? He said, well, they were endorsing him with the schools. All these creditors were coming into the schools. I already knew it. They were going into the grade schools too. Now, the college students wanted it. They wanted that credit. They can go into the mall and buy anything they want, but they weren't paying their bill. And then by the time they were in their 30s and wanted to buy a house, it came back to haunt them. They couldn't do it. So now all these college students are coming to me. This is why credit should be in the schools. And this is why credit will be in the schools with the Guardian Angels, because we're going to make it happen. This dream team that we had, they have a bigger dream than you ever realized. Their dream is to make all America know their rights. And I am the queen of credit rights. Josie is with a divorce, educating them so we can educate you right there in your household. When this happens, you can sit back and you can say, I did it. I did it myself. Shouldn't you be proud of this? Well, let me say something. The 49th show is an eye-opener. The 50th show is where you do open your eyes and you do make it work and make it happen. And I hope tomorrow night's show, and we're going to be bold and we're going to be daring, but we're also going to be mellow to the point of saying, join us. Join us in our mission, because you're going to know every little detail what this mission is about. Will it hurt you? No. It can only help you. What does the signature has to do? What is the signature? There's fraud out there. There's identity theft. What does it have to do that you haven't done already? I think it's pretty scary when the average person has to sit back and look at themselves and say, you know what? I'm not going to make this happen again. I'm going to watch the show tomorrow night. Tomorrow night now, 7 p.m., the Polto show, the last of the Polto Horizon. But we're still here. We are still here. Just because you change your name, look at the car places. You know, one time it's Ford, they changed their name to something else. It doesn't say it's changed. It just says it's better. And that's what we're doing here. We're making the show bigger and better, and not just playtime. Not just playtime. Who wants to be a singer? Who wants this? Who wants that? It's no more playtime. Now we're going to take life seriously and to see who really cares. And if you don't care about the topics that we're going to present to you, well, then this world should go down the tubes. But other countries are saying, no, no, no. I don't want this country to go down the tubes. We need the United States. How about the people inside of it? How about you, the people? How about we, the people, care about our own country? And if we don't care about our own country, we can't care about our households. And if you can't care about your household, you don't care about your spouse, because you will end up in a divorce. And it'll be a bloody divorce where you won't care because you made it happen. You know, we've been doing this for a long time, and I'm excited. I'm very excited of the changes that's going to take place. I'm so excited. I was excited with the Polto show. I'm more excited with the Guardian Angels of Justice and Peace, because now I know we're going to make things happen. Why? We got everybody in back of us, backing us up. You can't get any better than that. You can't get any better from a dream team or another country backing us up to say, we want you to. What an honor. What an honor to have a dream team of billionaires to say, we want you to step up to the plate. We need you. We need you because we need credit out there. We need this. We need that. And everybody that comes aboard is a part of it. But if you don't want to come aboard and sit back, guess what? Just watch the show. Don't watch the show. Turn the channel. Because you don't want to get educated. You never will. So there's doers, and there's pleasers, and there's givers, and there's takers. Which one are you? Are you going to help us all out? Because if you do, I'm going to say, you're going to enjoy the shows coming up with the Guardian Angels of Justice and Peace. I want to thank you for the last time of this show. And I want to say it's going to happen. But if it does happen, it's more so what you can do with your life, what we can do to help you. And we promise you, I promise you, to save your home, your car, and even your marriage, your credit cards. Stop the bill collectors and make the creditors take a good look at what they're doing to you. And the president, stop putting in office, stop putting these people in office that says, well, we'll make a change. We'll make a change with the health care system. We'll make a change with the credit card companies. When you see every year they make promises, aren't you sick of it? Well, if we're fighting for you, don't you think it's time that we should say to you, join forces with the Guardian Angels of Justice and Peace. Make it work. Watch the show tomorrow. You're going to get a taste of something that you never had in your entire life. I think it's time we all look at this. This is Pearl Polto signing off as usual, but this time it's the Pearl Polto show for the 50th anniversary show tomorrow night. God bless you.